Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cats and Coffee Surviving the Modern World as a Millennial. The world today is a pretty crazy place for everything from COVID, which it's got people considering it's the apocalypse, to the housing crisis, to cryptocurrency, and the way finances are being run, and the supposed job shortage, but then people not being able to find jobs. The world is a crazy place and no longer really follows the rules that it used to. Our parents and grandparents try and give us advice, and it doesn't really work. You can't go and fill out a paper application like you can anymore. Everywhere tells you to do it online. The world has changed, the rules have changed, and I'm here to kind of help you out a little bit with that. So the topic this week in particular, we're going to be talking about finances. Now, that is a pretty vague and very big topic that can be broken down into a lot of different things. So we are going to be covering 3 subtopics today. Now, those subtopics are bill planning, quad pay options for bills, and then our third topic is payday advances. Now, so for our first topic, we're going to be covering bill planning. Now, as an adult, one of the most stressful things, hands down, anyone can agree on is planning out your bills and managing your finances. I feel like every time you get paid, you immediately have to turn around and that money's all gone, whether you're paying rent, car insurance, renter's insurance, a mortgage if you're lucky enough to own a house. Most people are age-old, but if you are, congrats. Now, back in the day, people used to balance checkbooks, but with everything being online, your bank account actually balances itself, so checkbooks aren't really needed. However, they are a good way to keep up on your finances, but what I would recommend that's more modern, on your phone, you can actually download some apps. Now, there are several different bill planning apps that I would recommend. You can download one for calendar specifically. This will give you reminders of due dates and how much you have to do. You can just download any basic calendar app. The one that I use is TimeTree because you can share that with multiple people. So let's say you have a significant other, you have a roommate. You can place in all of these events that need to happen on a certain day, certain time, and everybody who is involved will be notified however far ahead you schedule it. There are other ones. You can just simply use the calendar app included on your phone, but I prefer to use the one where you can share it with other people. Now, another thing to help with bill planning that you can use are finance bill planning apps. 2 of them I would definitely recommend is the Mint one, which is provided by TurboTax, Intuit, and all of that. And then another one is simply just called Bill Organizer. Now, what these apps allow you to do is they allow you to type in the average date that the app is due, such as, let's say your rent is due on the 1st usually. You would type in the title, rent, you would type in the amount, the reoccurring day, and it would include that. You would go through and you would do this with all of your bills, and you would also go ahead and put in the average amount of money that you would be making for this pay period. So at the end, it calculates it all out for you, how much money you'll have left after you pay out all of your bills. And oftentimes, these apps will often alert you if you are not going to be able to pay a bill, if a bill is going to be coming up that's going to be a little bit out of your budget, or if you're going to have some extra money around, which is always a big help. And now, combining these tools of the calendar app and the bill planning app, it makes it much easier so you don't get overwhelmed and forget about different bills that are due. Now, the second option is something that I've more recently discovered and gotten into, which has been a huge help. Most people have issues with credit, getting accepted for credit cards and stuff like that now. There are different things you can use to break down bigger purchases, and quad pay options is one of the biggest things that you can use that almost everybody's accepted for. Now, there are several different ones you can use. There is Aftershock, which is probably the most common and one of the biggest ones, Klarna, Shop, and then Zip, which used to be quad pay. Now, all of these apps You can either go through the app itself and order from whatever website, let's say Amazon, eBay, Etsy, and you can either go through their website and they automatically divide it up. You just give them your credit card information. Or when you go to check out on these actual websites that offer these services, such as Afterpay, Shop, Klarna, and all of that, you log into your account, and what it does is it charges you 1/4 of the payment right then and there, and then every 2 weeks from that point, another 1/4 of that payment is due. Now you can go ahead, you can pay it early. A lot of these apps actually let you move the payments around if you need to move them a little later. So let's say you have a big purchase, like a AC you want to order from Amazon because it's the best price you can find. Now, instead of worrying, oh my gosh, I gotta save up all of this money, you can break it down and pay a little bit out of your check each point. Now, most of these don't report back to the credit bureau, but if you go into negative balances, they will sell your information to the credit unions, which therefore or debt collectors, which will therefore negatively impact your credit and be reported to the credit unions. But quad pay is an option if you have a hard time saving and if you need something very fast but don't have the money. Now, the third subtopic this week we're going to talk about is payday advances. Now, we've all hit points in our lives where we've had a bill pop up, an emergency, something happened right before payday where we just don't have the money in our account. Now, it gets embarrassing asking somebody for help, going to a bank for a loan, running around trying to figure out how am I going to do this? Am I going to have to pawn something? Am I just going to have to be late? Now, there is options available to you. You can do payday advance apps, and two of the most popular are Dave and Albert. Now, what Dave and Albert do is you connect them to your bank accounts. They go through and they see all of the amount of money that has been put into your account. Here is one of our cats for our cats and coffee. Remember, cats help everything. Now, these apps, they go ahead, they connect to your bank, they see your average payday, how often you get paid, and how much you get paid, and they determine based on this amount, as well as looking at your bill history, how you spend your money, how often the money sits in your account is also an important thing, and they figure out how much they will lend you, and upon the agreement of you being lent this amount, they will charge your card, whatever card or bank that you attach to it, the amount that you have agreed upon. Now, these apps advertise up to $250, however, most people get less than that. I personally myself have been approved to up to, I think it was $150 the last time I had looked into it. They are great for if you need that extra money, if you're really close to payday but you just need something. They do charge a slight fee, so that way they can provide the services. They also ask for tips, which Dave actually has it to where you can't agree to accept the money unless you agree to give a tip. There's no way around it in the app. The app kind of just freezes and won't let you skip that step. So you're going to end up losing money if you do it this way, so it's only good to do these payday advances if it's an emergency. I would not recommend doing it all the time, as you will end up owing a lot of money over time. Now, those were our three big topics of the week. Now, finances can definitely be covered more in advance. If you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, please let me know and I'll be able to answer your questions. Now, for my tip of the week, I would say we want to use Credit Karma and we need to watch our credit and build up our credit. Young adults are not taught very well how to start your credit and build up your credit. Often at 18, we sign up for that first credit card we can get approved for with the high APR. We don't pay off, or we only pay off the minimum balance in our credit score tanks, student loans, regular loans, all of that. Using apps such as Credit Karma and credit tracking apps give you a better estimate of where your credit score is, your financial history. and all of that to see, let's say, if you want to get approved for a car through a dealership, a mortgage. Oh, bless you, kitty cat. A mortgage or anything like that. It also alerts you if any debt has been reported in your name, because there have been a lot of times where false debt has been reported, or let's say you went to pay a bill and the payment didn't get through, so it got sent over to a debt collector. I always recommend having one of these apps, such as Credit Karma, to be used for this exact reason, so that way you don't get surprised by some big charge or some big thing on your credit history when you go to make a big purchase. Now, for some questions, comments, and concerns we have already been given, I have reached out to interested viewers. Now, a friend from Facebook was wanting to know the best way to deal with a late bill, since our topic this week is finances and we were talking about bill planning. There are definitely many ways to avoid a late bill, but it happens to all of us. And there are also, thankfully, many ways to deal with a late bill. In my honest opinion, the best way is to call up whatever company and be for real with them. I've had an emergency happen, I'm not going to be able to pay on time. Most of the time, they will offer you payment options, such as you can do a partial payment then. We'll offer payment plans. Some of them will help reduce your bill for a little bit and you can pay more later. There are always things that you can do, especially if you reach out to the company ahead of time before it's due and let them know. Companies are a lot more willing to work with you and accept these kinds of things if you talk to them and let them know ahead of time. Now, if the bill is already late, you can still call them, you can still reach out to them, they will still work with you. If the bill has been turned over to a credit collector, you can settle it for a less amount. A lot of these credit companies buy this debt at a lower amount, so they're willing to settle for a lower amount. So always research, always call, always talk, and see what your options are. Don't just let it sit there, don't freak out, deal with it as soon as you can. Get it off your credit history. The faster you deal with it, the faster the problem goes away and the better your credit history will be. Now, next week's show, we are going to go over actually building up credit. We're going to be talking about Credit Karma, credit card balance ratios, loans, debt history, and everything like that that builds up your credit, and how to actually build up your credit score over time. Now, my name is Taylor Lowe. The secret to life to me is cats and coffee. And I hope you've had a great time. Good luck.